All right, so this is a quick one. I just landed in Atlanta, and on my travels, I watched this little, some sort of like little, I don't know what it was. It was like a little video clip with the guy that produced this. All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. Soak it in, guys. No matter what anybody thinks, that's going to be a hit for 100 years. If we're all still here in 100 years, it's still going to be a hit. And you know what he said? He said that he produced the song. He said he did it like in his bedroom on MIDI, and the drums were like so like loom drum, and the piano. He couldn't play the piano, so he wrote the piano in because it was too fast, and everything was just soft synths from MIDI synths from 25 years ago. So he makes it, they pitch it. Mariah likes it. So she starts working on it. I think she's in New York. And they they assemble all the session musicians. I think Will Lee, I can't remember what he said, but it was like all the top guys. I mean, this is Mariah Carey, it's gonna be her Christmas song. And they put this track together with all these hot players. And the label hated it. They liked his MIDI demo. They said, "Oh, it sounds too old and it sounds too country." That's exactly what it sounds too country. Dan Huff was on, like it was, whatever. So they ended up just using it. That's one of the biggest songs ever. So the reason I say this is work on music, and you will be surprised of the revenue that I have earned. Not work for hire revenue, like not getting paid to do things. Work for like ASCAP money, royalties, mechanical, publishing, all that stuff. I have made more money, and this is just for me, doing licensing, and most of it I programmed it myself. I've made more money than when I hired the hot drummer and stuff. Not like I make more money by making the records, like the work for hire, but like actually getting paid for people purchasing it or being used in film and television. I've made more money off of songs that I made myself with addictive drums, whatever, superior drummer. I even, for a while, I used to use a Boss DR770 drum machine before I knew of grid mode. That's how long ago that was. So it just was funny because, working on this little tune and it being programmed drums, I don't sleep on it, guys. If you're a guitar player or you write songs and you produce and you're by yourself and you don't have access to a drummer, don't let that slow you down. And if you get done with it and you want real drums on it, then you do it. But then you'll have two versions. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You will be surprised. And I listened to the drums on there and they're real stiff and all the snares sound the same. That's going to be a hit for 100 years. That's going to be a hit. That's up there with like New York, New York by Sinatra. Like, that's Elvis. That's like Uptown Funk. These are songs that are going to be around, they just ad nauseum. So let it be. You know what I mean? Like these are songs that are just around forever. That one's going to be around forever. Now, obviously, Mariah is in prime. I just listened to it every time when she was in her prime. She was probably my biggest inspiration vocally. I saw Mariah Carey unplugged. She was probably like 22 or 23, singing "Vision of You." Or "Vision of Love." I didn't even know that world existed at the time. And I loved soul singers. I mean, my favorite back then was always like Gladys Knight, was absolutely Gladys Knight, but man, Mariah in her prime, she was dropping elbows, man. And so, yeah, there it is, right? It's like every year. And you know what? It's like, who saw the, I think it was it was like, it was a movie about Nuwabum. I think it was that metal, the history of metal that was on like MTV about 6, 7 years ago, maybe. And they got to Nuwabum, new wave of British heavy metal. And they're talking to the dude from Raven. You know, it was a little, a band that does their thing, and they're okay. But they came along with Def Leppard and Iron Maiden and all these other bands. And he said that everybody was making fun of Def Leppard and calling them sellouts. And he's like, yeah, they're laughing all the way to the bank. So just do it. Do whatever it is whatever you think is right. And there's room at the table for everybody. So, peace. Listen to that song, man. I'm telling you. He talks about the beginning, the piano. He says, I couldn't play it, man. He said, I had to write it in. It was too fast. Oh, good Lord.